Hi everyone, it's me Natalie, and I am here with a video to talk about my tips and tricks about sets and prop making. I have asked you all through my YouTube community page and my Instagram account about what things in particular you'd like me to talk about in this video, and I have been given great responses, and thank you to all who have contributed. It's okay if you haven't, I still appreciate you. So what I'm giving is just some tips. It's just tips. I'm not saying this is the way you have to make your sets. I know people have different styles and ways of making their sets and they could be happy with it. So take what I suggest as a grain of salt. Don't take it at all, or take it however you like. Use it however you want if you want to improve your set making or make changes to your set making style. So without further ado, let's get started. So the most common thing I got asked on YouTube was about how I make my outdoor sets. You would see some examples of my outdoor sets in Chase in the Town Myth and in Moments Before Disaster. I have a few things that I use for my outdoor sets. Like for example, I have some moss runners. I got them from a store called Spotlight. I don't know if they have them in other countries than Australia. And along with those, I got a bag of fake moss, which I use as bushes, leaves, just any extra decoration. And the last thing that I got from Spotlight was this container of play dirt, which essentially it's like kinetic sand, but just in the color of dirt. And the last thing that I used, which I already had with me, was this box of plastic trees and rocks that I can use as trees and bushes in the background. I don't know where these came from. I had them with me before I was born, so I just decided to use those straight away. If you don't want to spend too much money, what you can do, say for the play dirt, you can literally get dirt from outside. I don't see any problem with that. I think it just adds to the realism and it would look nice. As you can see in the Moments Before Disaster scene here, I have the play dirt laid out as a dirt path. Some alternatives could be Play-Doh. You can get some brown Play-Doh and then lay it out. That can work pretty well as well. Or you can print out a concrete path. That works just fine. Or you don't need a path at all. She can walk on the grass, so that's completely fine. Yeah. Along with things like moss or grass, you can use gravel, pebbles from outside. You can also get leaves, bits of leaves from a park or any forest bush nearby. Those can work just as fine. There was a more specific question how I make my forest set so full of depth in Chase in the Town Myth. What I did was get all my moss runners and lay them out vertically, would I say? Yeah, I would lay them out vertically all along so that I have more room to put trees and all my decorations at the front and at the back, which worked pretty well because the kind of scene that I was going for required that depth of having one character further at the back and a few characters at the front. So in that case, if you wanted to have an outdoor scene with more depth, you would lay out your moss runner in a vertical way, so you have your foreground, midground, and background. As for if you wanted some scene where the character is just walking along through the set, you would just lay it out horizontally, flat out. Oh, and one last thing, for the background, the backdrop, I would just get some colored paper. Say if it was a daytime scene, I would get light blue paper and stick it to the back of the set. If it was some set in nighttime, I would put black paper in the background. Works pretty well. It doesn't look too obvious once the camera has set the focus and sort of blurs the background out. Okay, so that's all I have for my outdoor sets. Now, onto the next thing that I had was about how do I make my props more detailed and realistic. A thing I like to do, I like to use props that are more realistic and not as plasticky and colorful as the Littlest Pet Shop props and sets. I'm not saying that I have any hate towards it, it's just my preference. If I have a particular prop that I want to use that is too colorful for me, I just paint on top of it. I don't see what's wrong with painting over some toys that you want to use in your sets. If you don't want to, that's completely fine. It's just a suggestion. So say for the TV that I had in Moments Before Disaster, it was originally white and light blue, which I thought would look completely out of place in a set that I made. So I mixed some colors, got some different shades of gray, and then I just painted on top and it came out quite nice. Yes, another example I have is the casserole that I made in Moments Before Disaster as well. What I had was a small basket from the Sylvanian Families or Calico Critters set, and I got yellow Play-Doh. I think you can use any Play-Doh because then for the next part I painted on top of it to create some texture. Like I got bits of brown for the golden brown look, then put some green for bits of lettuce or any herbs. I put it in the basket and voila, got my casserole. I've actually never had a casserole before, so it was it was a bit interesting making one from scratch. Yeah, so yeah, there you go. So I'd say don't be afraid to get crafty. Use literally anything you can find. It can work out so well. So yes, now I had someone ask if anyone thinks about the lighting for the sets, and yes, I care so much about the lighting. I think about what lighting I would have all the time for my sets and scenes. So for my lighting, I do a couple of things actually. I first start with having lots of natural light. I think it looks much better than a studio light, unless if you get one of those professional soft light boxes. I don't remember what they're called, don't have them, don't particularly plan to, unless if I need them for an actual film, but we'll see about that. Yeah, so in the room where I film, I have a big window that gives off a lot of light all day round. Doesn't matter where the sun is, I always get heaps of light from that window. It works really nicely for my scenes, getting the light that I need in. It also helps make the shadows not as distinctive as I can get with some lamp or room light. Other things that I do to help adjust my lighting is use the settings in my camera. So my camera is a Canon, I think in some places it's called the Rebel Pro, but mine is the Canon EOS 200D. And the settings that I have on that camera is pretty cool. I can change the amount of lighting that I want. Like I can make it brighter or darker. That's the abilities that I have to use with my camera. And then my editing software is Adobe Premiere Pro. I am able to do any sort of coloring editing and lighting editing. Yes, so those are the main things I do for my lighting. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about is how do I build my sets, or how do I design them. So I'm going to give a demonstration of how I build my sets very shortly. I'm just going to first talk over some things. So I just first want to say, it all depends on how detailed you want to make your sets, but if you wanted to make them detailed, make the setting as accurate to the story as you can. It really helps make the story more immersive, and as we all know, detail just looks amazing. That's all I have for talking about how I build my sets. I am going to go and demonstrate. So let's go. So here I am going to make a set for a new film that I am working on at the moment. The set that I need to make is an infirmary. It's like a hospital, but more generally it's just a facility that looks after people that are ill. Now you can start getting ideas of what the film may be about. I have this box where I keep lots of these almost square-shaped pieces of paper. So I have a whole stack of ones that I have used already. At the moment, I'm not quite sure about what kind of wallpaper I want, but right now I'm thinking some neutral ones like these should work. I normally like to go for the more neutral colored ones. Yes, I think I have all the ones that I want from this pile, yes. So I have this black folder full of paper that I can use as well. So in the end, I have decided to use these ones as my flooring. of course, I am going to position them in a way that this little symbol at the bottom can't be seen. And then for my wallpaper, I am deciding between these three. I'm deciding between this one, and this one. I wanted to go for some kind of wallpaper that is somewhat plain and doesn't make me think so much that it's a like total hospital room. I would like it to have some sort of color, as if the room has been set up to sort of look the most pleasant as it can for the patient that is in the room. So I'm already thinking I may not use this one, so I am putting that away. So it's just deciding between these two, which I think I will choose a bit later on. So to help me decide which wallpaper looks good, I set my flooring down, and then I put them up. I put them up and think, oh, which one looks nicer? I see with this one, it has like a nice color, like similar colors. It can help create the right tone and also make the characters stand out more. This one also works pretty well. What's good about having this kind of flooring, it like can look similar to any sort of cool mid-tone colors that I want to use. So I'm still a bit indecisive, so I'm just going to keep these two for now and decide later on. So now that I have these floorings, I am going to just lay them out however big or long that I need them to be. I have a little problem with this appearing here, so I'm wondering how else can I do this without it being seen. I think I know. I can lay it out like this because I know I want to have a wall here that is rather significant, so I can just cut off these with the wall that I'm going to use. And then I have this one that I can move along for any particular angles that I need, which is pretty convenient. So now what we can do, we can stick these down with some blue tack that I have. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I think I shall then decide on what kind of bed I will have. So I have a few options. I need to make it look pretty plain and simple, like a hospital bed would look. So I thought I could use this lid and then paint it a more neutral color, like white or gray. So I can either decide on this, or I found something cool that I could use. I could use some eyeshadow palette that I have, and then when it's laid down on the side, it seems to like have this sort of like not so much the industrial look, but I think it could fit well enough with what I'm using, because I am going to have some sort of blanket that will be covering on top, so no one is going to see what it is like on the top of it. No one wants to see eyeshadow in an infirmary room. Yes, so then I could use this bed cover that I have, or I could make another one that is completely white or something more grayish and neutral. Something I can use as a substitute very quickly is get the cloth I use to clean glasses with, so that's an option. So for now, I am deciding that I will go with this because it takes less space, and I just think that the colors that I can see here from the side will look good. I mean, even with the bedsheet that I might use, I might not even see the sides of it, so I think it works out fair enough. So I am going to put that here. And for now, I am just going to use a cloth. Now, next thing I'm going to do is set up the walls. So I know what I have, or what I'm going to feature in one of my walls is a window that looks out to the landscape that you will see in the film. So what I can do with that is either cut a square hole on one of the cardboard sheets that I use as my wall, or I can set up a little piece of green paper and then work with green screen for that. With most of the cardboard sheets that I have, I cut out a doorway so that it saves time. And yeah, you can see that I have that in a few of those. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter which wall I use, like it doesn't really matter how ugly it is. I can just use any because it will be covered up with wallpaper. I'm not saying it's going to completely look like this, but just at the moment, I'm just setting up a wall here that I will put wallpaper on. What I can do when I vary between my shots, I can have one wall on the side sitting here in one shot, and then in the other shot, I can move it over to the other side, and that works pretty well. So for now, at the moment, I am going to have my wall here, and I need to prop something on the side of it to make it stay. Another reason why I think I will use this cardboard wall is because it has a very neutral color that will match the wallpapers that I'm deciding between. Yeah, so now, when I set up the walls, I normally prop something to keep it straight, or I just try to balance it with the other walls that I use, which some of the time they fall over and it like completely destroys the whole set, so then I have to rebuild it, but it's okay. We have the patience. So we're going to have the bed here. Window is not going to be there. It's going to be somewhere here in the center. Now I want to have a table sitting on the side. I can either use like a glass one or this brown one. That's from this random box that I have. Both sides work pretty well. So say for the moment I can use this because it makes a nice level. It's a nice level to the height of the LPS, as you can see here. It works pretty well. Yeah. Oh, almost forgot. Can't forget the pillow. Where's the LPS gonna rest its head? It needs to sleep. Now there is a special feature or prop that I need for this room because it's really symbolic, which is a vase of wilted flowers. So what I have prepared earlier, I have got some flowers that I found outside, say when going for a walk, and then I just let them sit somewhere and let them wilt. So as you can see, they are very wilted at the moment. And for the vase, temporarily I am going to use this little bottle cap. I think it was like from toothpaste or some kind of yogurt satchel. So I'm going to have that sitting here, and with the wilted flowers that I have, I get one and then I'm just going to put that here. So as you can see, it looks very wilted at the moment. I might even have to break a bit of the stem off so that it has a nicer fit. So if we do that, now it should be able to sit nicely. Oh no, wait, hold on, I got this. There we go. So it just sits there looking sad and wilted, but that's what we need for our film, right? And then for little details, you can add things like pieces of like paper with writing on it, or this tissue box that I made following a tutorial. If you guys are interested, I can send you the link to the video that gives a tutorial. So I will just put that here. I can also have other things like little pieces of paper like I mentioned earlier. I can put that there. Another thing that I can use some little books that I have made before, like other things I can use are little books that I made, like this one. Like this one, you can open it up and there'll be paper in here, so I can just put that there as well. This is not going to be how it finally looks in the video. I'm just putting there as a demonstration, as an example. So now that I have the main thing set up, I'm just going to take out a character that I'm using, which is this one, and then I am going to decide which one I think looks nicer, looks more fitting. So we got between this one or this one. In all honesty, they both look pretty good. Honestly, this wallpaper reminds me too much of that one series I made called Labels. I made it like several years ago, and I use this a lot for the high school hallways. In my opinion, wasn't the best series that I made, but I mean, you gotta start somewhere, right? So in the end, I think I like this one more. I just think it gives better color variation than the purple one. It just all makes it look very purple. So in the end, I think I'm going to choose this one. Has some flowers, creates that attentive, pleasant environment for the patient. Yeah, that's the basics of how you can design your set. So in summary, your key ideas, your key thoughts to think about and ask yourself are, what kind of things would be in this kind of setting? What kind of things would be in this room, in this time period, that would suit the character, that would suit the story? So in my case, I wanted to make an infirmary for a patient that is going to be the main character of the film. And I didn't want the room to look like a complete hospital room where it's all plain white and medical looking. I wanted it to have some color because the illness that this patient have wouldn't really require her to be sitting in like a hospital ward where it would just be all plain and such. So I added some color, like some plain, not plainly, but just like some mid-tone color background, and then I wanted to have some flowers that could have been given to this character from like a family member or a friend, but then just wilted over time. And then of course there needs to be a bed for the patient to sleep in, of course, and then the little details can then just like come later as you think of ideas that you think would suit the story and the character. Well, I hope all of those tips and tricks were helpful to you, and if you have anything else you want to see from me, just let me know in the comments. And thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, hope you got something from it. Hope you are looking forward to this new film that I'm going to be making with the set that I just made, and I'll see you around. Bye!